International Business Networks Executives Global Network, that's EGN, a worldwide knowledge-sharing network specializing in national and global information sharing for executives, has launched in Africa. Now, EGN will enable African executives to plug into established networks to create relationships and share knowledge nationally and across borders and continents. Executives are able to test new ideas, discuss strategies and development, gain a fresh perspective on challenging issues, and learn new skills. For more on EGN, we're now joined in the studio by Mr. Martin Humphries, who's the Managing Director of Executives Global Network. Thank you very much for joining us here on Rendezvous Africa. Now, why Africa now?
Basically, it's Africa's turn, I think, to join into an active network of leading business executives from around the world, which are already in dialogue with one another, from Europe, from America, from Australasia. And where's Africa in this? I think it's Africa's turn, and I'm happy to say that I'm at the forefront of that. I'm Managing Director of EGN South Africa,
okay.
Not worldwide, not at all.
Okay.
So I'm spearheading the initiative for South Africa and the rest of Africa.
Now, let's understand, how many countries are actually involved in this initiative?
At this point in time, it's approximately 10 new countries joining on all the time. There's about another 7 or 8 which will plug into the network.
Let's count the 10?
Next year.
Can we go through the 10?
Well, firstly, let's start with Denmark, because this started in Denmark.
Okay.
We have Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Germany, US, UK, Malaysia, Singapore, recently Australia. I think I plus minus got the 10 in there.
Okay, you've got close.
Close.
Yeah. Okay. Now, successful it has been, it looks like. Tell us more about that.
Well, successful, yes, certainly for EGN. It's a platform that's viable to roll out into other economies around the world. And certainly successful for individual business executives themselves. There's a lot of value add for the individual executive in their personal capacity when they're in dialogue and networking with other leaders.
Let's go to how actually does this work. One executive sitting in South Africa says, I have a strategy and this is what I'm looking at for my organization.
Right.
They then tap into the resources and maybe talk to somebody who's sitting in Norway and share knowledge.
And the problem could be to do with Singapore, for instance. So they might have a dialogue between South Africa and Norway, but the commercial issue might relate to a transaction in Singapore, because the Norwegian might have experience in the Singaporean market, for instance. But to expand on the way that this operates, firstly, there's a physical networking element and there's a digital networking element.
Okay.
The physical network is myself as an executive. If I'm a member of a group, say I'm a CEO, I would form part of a local group, a peer group in my area, consisting of approximately 15 to 20 executives of similarly sized organizations. And we would meet 6 times a year, approximately every second month, under the chairmanship of a leading executive chairperson. And we would be in dialogue about issues related to us in our local economy. If I now need to address an issue outside of my group, I start tapping into the digital network. And that's a 24/7 internet-driven facility. And this is plugging South Africa and Africa into the executives through the internet. The query might relate to doing business in either a local country, for instance, Zambia or Kenya, or in South Africa, or it might relate to an international issue beyond the borders of Africa, beg your pardon.
All right. Now, how will EGN then change the business scene in Africa?
Well, we aim to facilitate dialogue, meaningful dialogue at the end of the day, to do with issues which are real for a business executive. A business executive is sitting with issues and challenges, whether they want to grow their business or whether it's a fear-based issue, such as what's going on in the global economy at the moment. What is the impact on me, for instance? What is the impact on my business? This is the possibility for them to communicate with others who are not consultants, who are not their own employees. Every employee that you might speak to, your own executive, has a certain bias. They have a certain agenda, with respect. If you have consultants, again, there's perhaps somewhat of a bias. Here you're talking to other independent business executives. You're getting cut and thrust information. It's the real world. It's what's happening out there. And another executive is explaining to you how they have tried they've faced a similar problem. What has their solution been? Was it successful or did it backfire?
Now, hold on. You're launching in South Africa now.
Correct.
What about the rest of Africa? Will there be specific launches in the specific countries, or is South Africa the main network where all the Arab countries will be plugging into?
Well, we're launching it from South Africa, certainly first and foremost in South Africa.
Okay.
09 is our year for South Africa.
Okay.
We aim to get approximately 10 to 15 senior level executive groups up and running by the end of 09.
Groups or individuals in groups?
Groups times about an average of 20 members per group. So we're looking at a few hundred members at the end of the day for South Africa in 09.
Now that's for South Africa only in 09?
For South Africa,
What
exactly.
is the membership like right now?
In South Africa?
No, we're talking
worldwide. It's just over 3,000 executives altogether.
So those people will then be plugging into that network?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, which countries in Africa are you expecting this to be well received?
Well, it's early days yet. We would also look to see countries which are very receptive towards the concept and wanting to tap in to grow their businesses and their economies. So it's also for us a case of who is giving us the right kind of feedback, but we certainly believe in sub-Saharan Africa. I'm African myself. I've operated in Southern Africa for a number of years. I don't think it's appropriate to put one country above another or one below another at this point in time. I think there are others on our borders that are definite potential members as soon as they're over their local crisis. I think it would be ideal networking possibility for executives to share knowledge and experience and effectively build their business through each other.
We've seen that, for example, Africa's way of doing business is not necessarily the same as the UK or anywhere else. How then are you going to integrate Africa into that network? Because they've still got to maintain their own way of doing things, but still be part of a network that does things differently.
That's right.
How then do we put the two together?
Well, we find that around the world that different cultures are receiving the networking principle in different ways. Singapore, for instance, would be completely different to the UK. And that's no difference within Africa itself, either within the African continent or as far as Africa on an international basis is concerned.
And you're finding then that the understanding would be the same. Time-wise, how does it work for your executives? We're talking about people that hardly have time for themselves. Right now, this is before they actually are part of a network like this. How is this going to work?
Well, they have got time for themselves. They have to, in terms of running the organization that they are running or taking the executive responsibility.
So you're actually aiming at having it as part of? As
part of. This is not an after-hours working environment, a social gathering. It's highly structured. It's very efficient. It's very controlled. Very disciplined. There's a high code of ethics within which the group operates. And they would roll out from country to country. Obviously, we would have also a local partner in different countries that would facilitate the issues on the ground in that particular country.
All right.
But that would be spearheaded out of Johannesburg, South Africa.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us, Martin Humphries, MD of Executives Global Network. Thank you for joining us here on Rendezvous Africa. Now, remember, you can always write to us, sni@sabc.co.za. There's our email address. Maybe you're an executive and you want to join in. sni@sabc.co.za. Do write to us. Let's take a short ad break. Continue with the program just after this. Don't go away.